everybody, it's your girl Destiny Gilliam. I'm the owner and the founder of the Creative Reading Coach, and I specialize in creating the most simplified tools for you to teach your baby how to read at home. This video, you'll notice it looks a little different. That's because I needed this backspace because I want to show you my top blending techniques, okay? A lot of times your kids come to you and they are either completely overwhelmed with how to read a word because it is so big, or they just simply say, "Ma, how do you say this word?" So today's video is about being able to look at the word, find the pieces in it, and how do you blend them, okay? So let's go ahead and get started. What I have here are some few simple words that you would normally see, okay? They're only examples, but any technique that we use here, it can be applied to any word that they're reading at home in a book, all right? So for example, you don't have to keep saying, "Sound it out," and then they come to you and they're saying every single letter. And you're like, "No, that doesn't make sense." And you may even ask yourself, like, why does this word say this and it's not spelled that way? All right, first word, super easy. It is a CVC word. What that means, Mama, is that it starts with a consonant, it has a vowel in the middle, and then it is closed with another consonant. So it's one of the easiest words and the first type of word that any young reader may read, okay? So how I teach to this type of word to be blended is very easy. I say sound, k, sound, ah, hold it, ah, together, ka, sound, p, together, cop. That was so easy, right? Now, let's look at this one. It follows the same pattern, but what do you notice? It is an additional consonant there. Now, what most kids will try to do who are not strong readers, they will try to read it as k-hop, k-hop. And we know that doesn't make sense. Instead, what you want them to do, you want them to be able to lump this C and H together. And you want it to make one sound. It's called a digraph, okay? And all a digraph means is that it's two letters that come together and they make a completely new sound. You don't hear either one of those, okay? So we're going to blend it the same exact way we did cop. Instead, we're going to say ch, sound, ah, hold it, ah, together, chop, sound, p, chop. You see that? Now, let's look at this next example. It is very similar to chop, but what do you notice? It has a T and an R. And most kids would try to read that as tara'at, right? Tara'at. And you're like, "Honey, that don't make no sense." Instead, it is a blend. Very similar to a digraph. However, you do hear the T, you do hear the R. So we're going to read those together. We're going to go tr, ah, t, trot. So tr, sound, ah, together, trot, sound, t, trot. Ah, look at that. Now this is one that I know many of you struggle with at home because it doesn't follow the pattern as how it's spelled. They might look at that and read piney, and it's like, "No, baby, that's pine." You know it's pine because you've been reading for forever. However, one thing we notice about pine is this E is doing all the work because it's going to tell this I to say its name. Okay? So we have to do something different with our fingers than we did up here. Instead, I'm going to say, "Oh my gosh, that E is at the end of the word, so it's going to make that vowel say its name. So I need both fingers. I'm going to say p, I, pine." You see how I did that? I'm going to try it one more time. You heard my baby in the background, but because this video is so good, I refuse to stop, okay? So watch how I do it again. I'm going to go p, I, pine, okay? Next one, you recognize, you can read it, seat. However, what I need you to start telling your kid is like, "Oh my gosh, that E and A, they're going to work together." So you don't have to say E-A, A, you know, that type of thing. They can do all the work together. So I can read it as eat, seat, all right? You may recognize this in words like sweet, when it is two vowels that are working together, okay? When it's like that, just use your two fingers to make them read it that way, all right? The next one, same thing, but what do you notice? Let's see if you remember. What do you notice there? We have that CH like we did over here for chop. So although it has the same vowel pattern, we also now have a digraph. So we can read it the same way. We can go ch, eep, cheap. Ooh, that was good. That was good. Okay? Now, here's where it starts getting tricky because these were all one syllable words. That means that all we had to do was recognize the first syllable type, the only syllable type. When we get down to the bottom, that's where the words look big. And they're like, I don't know how to say that word because it's so long. But really, they do. Because look, you know how to read zig because if I cover that, what would you do? You would say z sound, I together, z sound, g, zig. We had to move fast, right? And then you would tell them to do the same thing. Z, a, zag, zag, zig, zag. All right? So it's not too bad. Now this one right here is very special. And the reason why it's special is because it has two syllables like zigzag. However, with zigzag, it has one syllable where we will be able to do X, X. And then what do we notice? We have the magic E because that E is doing all the work for that A. So how am I going to read it? I'm going to read it as X, hey, oh, hell, exhale. Make sense? I hope it makes sense, all right? Here's my challenge to you. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to have your child read aloud to you. When they read aloud to you, I want you to write down any words that they miss or don't know how to say or they ask you how to say. And then I want you to practice this same strategy by yourself first. Because what will happen is if you get confident and you're able to recognize these parts yourself, then it'll be easier for you to tell them instead of saying just sound it out, sound it out. All right? Come back, leave your comments or your I was going to say expectation. Leave your responses in the comments and let me know how it goes. If you enjoyed this video, please do not forget to like, comment, and more than anything, make sure you subscribe by turning your post notifications on so you can stay in the loop. I'll see you in the next video.
Go mommy, go mommy, go mommy, go mommy, okay?